Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do and stop the self-sabotage with your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop self-sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stress to success as my little gift to you just for being here. Please do subscribe, share and review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you'll also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, printables, programs. You can find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I'm here for it. So that's the formalities over, my love. So let's jump to the content. How can I support someone with anxiety? Someone that you love in your life? Like, this is a question I get asked a lot, and it came up recently from a glorious listener. So it's something that it really does come up a lot, actually, like particularly over the last couple of years, because there's a lot of people who are struggling and more people admitting that they're struggling and all of that stuff. So firstly, it's worth saying there is no one size fits all approach to this. As with anything, we cannot generalize out one individual's needs to everybody. So a lot of this will be about patience and seeing what helps the individual in your life. And if you're the one with anxiety, explaining this to somebody else or giving them this episode is another way. You know, if you find these tips and ideas helpful, that can help you as well. So there are, however, some battle tried and tested things that can absolutely help you down that path to discovering what that support looks like for them and for you. So for context, because I think it's important, I struggled with anxiety for most of my life. I was what you would have called someone with high functioning anxiety. Like, I was a total catastrophiser. I was paranoid. I was always living in the past or the future, never the present. I overthought everything. I worried about everything. And I really struggled to relax. Like, it's not easy. Many people, and I was definitely one as well, feel like they need to hide it too, which can make it worse. You can very easily feel like your emotions and feelings are inconvenient or an annoyance to other people. So it's really, really hard to get the support. So if somebody does reach out to you, like, just try and hold them in that. But the fact that you're listening to this and it was requested suggests to me that you are genuinely looking to support people, which is amazing. So this episode is coming from a combination of my 8 years of study and qualifications, but also very, very much from my own lived experience. So there are a few things you can do to help support someone in your life who is dealing with anxiety. Firstly, and potentially most importantly, validate their experience. Validate their experience. Validation looks like, I'm so sorry you're dealing with this. It sounds really tough. Or it makes sense why you might feel this way. Or thank you so much for sharing this with me. You know, reflecting back what they're saying to you. You know, what I'm hearing is that this is what you're feeling and what you're struggling with. Yeah. Help them feel heard and understood. Like, that's so underestimated. It's unreal. Don't tell them to calm down. Don't tell them to pull themselves together or to get over it or just think positive or tell them that other people have it worse. These are hugely, hugely invalidating and add to it. They add guilt and shame and all the other stuff on top of the anxiety. And it's really ignoring the fact that what anxiety is a biological and physiological response to a perceived threat. It's the body's alarm system. It is there for a reason, from this person's particular past experience, genetic makeup, experiences from when they were teeny, all the way up to now. It's the body's alarm system. So speaking of that, like, really, another thing that you can do is really, really understand anxiety yourself. Understand what's actually going on for that person in that moment. That physiology, the fact that their nervous system is sending them thoughts, that thoughts aren't facts, all of these things, what's going on in the amygdala. The more you're educated on the response itself, the more you're able to help purely from that state of understanding. It means that you won't panic and think, I don't understand why this is happening. I don't know what to do, or get anxious about doing the right thing for that person, right? It means that you'll be able to regulate yourself a lot easier. So this is a huge part of what I teach in my SOS, Success Over Stress program. Like, it's the combination of the psychoeducation piece of the puzzle. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to know all the bits and pieces. It's the basics. But the combination of that and having the actual tools that make change, it's so important in helping both ourselves and other people, and understanding ourselves and other people and our behavior. Yeah. So another thing that you can do, or if you want to be on the waiting list for SOS, just let me know. Drop me a message on Instagram and I'll pop you on that. It should be coming soon. But share what you read or heard with them that helped you, or that you found interesting. There is a big difference between sharing something from a place of, you need this because you have a problem and I want you to sort it, and I wanted to share this with you because it made so much sense to me. I found it super helpful. This could be a book, a movie, an article, a video, a podcast. Share from that space of, I'm doing this and it's so good I'm sharing it. It gives them a chance to have choice and agency back. None of this can be forced. That's the number one thing. None of this can be forced. The person has to be ready to help themselves, but the last thing they need is to feel like their anxiety is something that is bad or wrong with them that needs to be fixed. Yeah. Don't put pressure on them or act as if having it is wrong or inconvenient. Like, this is a big one. When it comes to anxiety, we're working with the nervous system, right? We're talking about rewiring neural pathways. That takes time. That's why I talked about patience. So it's about celebrating the little wins, like help reflect back to them even the smallest of changes in a positive way. Like, oh my God, I noticed that, before you probably would have reacted really strongly to that and you didn't this time. Like, did you notice that? Little things. Next thing, encourage communication. So many of us were taught as children to suppress our emotions. Many of us were taught to, not talk about feelings because it's weak, or we shouldn't feel a certain way, or we should just be happy all the time. And the reality is that if you do that, they will get louder and come out in other, perhaps even less productive ways, right? Like anxiety, for example. So the more communication is encouraged, the more things can be worked through in real time. But the caveat is doing what you can do to make that communication feel safe for the other person, making it okay. And these tips that I'm giving you in here are going to help you do that. Like, don't try and force it. Let them know that you're there, and if and when they want to talk. I talk about titration a lot. I call it softly catch you monkey to all the guys in my membership and in the mentorship and things like that. Like, titration is this idea that it's little and often, like allowing yourself to have small experiences and then they eventually lead up to the big one. Yeah. And the other thing that this does is it models open communication yourself. Like, lead by example. Let them know that you're there to support them, but also share your stuff. And then the next one, so I cannot express how important this one is. Listen. Like, actually listen and be present with them. Don't talk over them. Don't be thinking about what you want to say next. Don't be thinking about a solution, which is my next point, but really, really actually listen to them. Noises in the right places, like, and like, those little noises are, again, not to be underestimated when they're genuine. and reflecting something back to someone, like, I heard you say this. Is that right? I just want to make sure I've got this right. Somebody feeling heard is massive. It's huge. But then that does lead nicely onto my next bit. Ask for consent before giving advice. This looks simply like asking them, would you like me to offer advice here, or just listen? Are you looking to brainstorm, or do you just want me to listen? Yeah. Helping them actually decode their anxiety and bring conscious awareness to it. Like, where do they feel it in their body? Like, what helps them feel better? Like, when we do this from a space of compassion, wanting to understand from a place of curiosity instead of judgment, it really opens the door to more awareness on both sides, which is the first major key to change. And another big one, ask for what they need most right now in this moment. Many of us, again, as children, were taught to abandon our own needs. So this can take some time. Someone might go, oh, I don't know. Let them sit with it. But simply asking what they need in that moment can be huge. It might be, oh, do you know what? I just really need 5 minutes to myself. I need a bit of space. It might be a hug. It might just be to be listened to or to zone out for a minute. Letting them know that it's okay. Obviously, as long as it's not something that's going to harm them in any way. And that you'll be there when they're ready. Yeah? And next one, just don't try to suppress their emotions. Let them know it's okay for them to be there and that you're there with them. I've talked about this on another podcast episode before, the amount of people that cry in sessions, and I encourage them, like, it's a really good thing. It's an emotional release, right? It's letting go of something that's been stored in your body. I freaking love a good cry. I love a good cry. Yeah. So let them know that it's okay, that it's there. The amount of times that people apologize for it, and I'm like, no, it's okay, it's brilliant. Particularly EFT. If somebody starts crying during an EFT session, you know that you're hitting the right spots and you're getting to the good stuff. And that the way that you feel, think about when you've had a good cry, how you feel afterwards. Yeah? We've been taught it's not good to cry. It's great to cry. So, another huge tip is to learn to manage your own emotions. Again, this is covered in SOS. So if you do want the details, just drop me a message on Instagram. It's at I'mFranExcel. But managing your own emotions and being able to model a calm nervous system when someone is struggling with anxiety is a game changer. They literally get to borrow your nervous system through co-regulation. Yeah. So this is a massive parenting tip too, is when you can master your own emotions and your own emotional regulations, that really, really helps you help your emotional child. Yeah. So just equip yourself with a few tools that can help. This could be certain breathing patterns, exercises for vagal toning, somatic tools using movement. Like there are so many tools, many of which are inside the Positive Pants Toolkit app and membership. You know, there's a reason that I made it, right? It's equipping people with the tools. It's finding the ones that feel good to you. Remember I said, like, there is no one size fits all. There are some things that always work because it's, you know, it's scientific, it's working with your nervous system, but sometimes you need something else. Sometimes you need something different. Yeah. So it's encouraging them that, you know, it might be breathing. It might be encouraging them to come to a yoga or an exercise class with you, or it could be suggesting going for a walk together. You might become gratitude buddies, where instead of writing in a journal, you send them 3 things you're grateful for and they send theirs back. You know, it's often the most simple tools that can have the biggest effect, but because they're simple, we don't trust them. Right? The trick is understanding how and why they work, because it gives you so much more motivation to try them and stick to them, because so many of the tools work in the moment, but when you use them over time, they completely rewire your nervous system. Yeah. Increase your capacity to cope, and it just does the same thing for them. So finally, for today, encourage them to talk to someone qualified to help them understand there's absolutely no shame in that. I genuinely believe everybody should have a relationship counsellor. Everybody should have some sort of coach or therapist. I really, truly live that and believe it. And that I'm on a mission to break down the shame and the awkwardness around that, because I genuinely believe that we all should have somebody in our lives that has that for us, that non-judgmental space, you know. So this is by no means exhaustive, but there are some things that have hugely helped me, and I see help my clients all the time. So I really, really hope that this helps someone. And if it has helped you, I would so appreciate a review or a message. Just let me know. It means so much to me to know that my content makes a difference. So if you want to share it on your socials and tag me in, just drop me a message privately. Anything to let me know that this has been helpful would be amazing. So truly, truly hope that this has helped someone today. So if you got value from this and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then join the Positive Pants Toolkit app and community so you can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I work with people one-on-one and through my programs. You can find all the details to join the toolkit or book in a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when and choose to change things now because you can. I'm here to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And as always, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next time.